So we're going to try something a little bit different today. Instead of talking about how to solve the problem, we're going to talk about the teacher moves that I'm making, things I'm thinking about when I'm using this problem. So it says using the digits 1 to 9 at most one time each, place a digit in each box to make a time that is 4:37 p.m. So I want to sometimes get kids thinking about, like, instead of what's the right thing to do, what would be a wrong thing to do? Like, let's consider a 1. Where would be a bad place to put a 1? Like, if we put a 1 here, does that break the problem? I think you could still probably solve the problem. What about here? What about here or here? Is there anywhere you could put the 1 to break the problem? I would make the case that if you put the 1 here, this is unsolvable. And so, like, giving kids an opportunity to do that is something I think that is worth considering with them. Now I'm going to ask you to think about a very similar thing. And apparently, if you spit on the board, it also shows up in purple. Where should a 9 go? Where is a 9 allowable? Where will it break the problem? For example, if you put a 9 in the tens place or the ones place of the minutes, does that break the problem? If you put a 9 here, like let's say we put a 9 here, can you pick digits that will make this viable? Or is it broken and you can't repair it? What about here? Like if we were to put, I really need to find a better way to erase these. If I put a 9 here, is it solvable? And then you get to really interesting situations like, okay, so now you're probably realizing, no, there's no way that if you put a 9 there, it's solvable, but what about here? Like, does that feel uncomfortable for you? Is that solvable? Because I think that it leads to interesting conversations. For example, if I tell you that I'm 5'13", how tall am I? Like, is that viable? Like, I'm technically 5 feet and 13 inches. So I could also say I'm 6'1", but the reality is that if I say it's 3 o'clock or 90 minutes after 3 o'clock, is that viable? Is 3:90 viable? So you get to really interesting things, like it's sort of like improper fractions with time. I'm looking at my notes here. And so I think that that's one thing that you can consider, like thinking about what digits can you not place? Or if you want to use this maybe on a quiz or a test, what times can you pick? Like you could maybe make this 5:23 or 5:39, but like, are there some times that would break the problem? For example, if you make a time that's 11:13, is that viable? Maybe you could do 10 o'clock because you could start with 9 o'clock and add more time. But it's one of those things that I want you to think about. And just, really just thinking about like what times would not work. So I really think it's important to do these problems ahead of time with students, think about the correct and incorrect strategies that they might use, thinking about ways that they could break the problem. And if they're not thinking of that themselves, then that might be something that you want to encourage them to do by giving them kind of weird constraints, like where can you not use a 9? So I'm curious to hear if you think of any other things that might come up when you're using it with students. Please let me know in the comments.